Carefuling. All right, what do we got here? We got Chevy Trailblazer, and this is pretty typical of Trailblazers. And the rust belt, you can see this upper link here. That's rotted off the frame, but there's two of them, so that's probably okay-ish. They're pretty close to it. Oh, this one is still, that one's still on there. But why are we looking at this today? Well, tie rod ends. That one's loose, but not falling out yet. Over here though, this one fell out in a parking lot, and well, I had to go rescue, pop her back in, and did some wire around it just to get it to the shop here. Yeah, that's the only thing that's keeping it from being drivable right now. So we're gonna replace this anyhow, just so the vehicle's mobile. But otherwise, yeah, this one is getting, she's pretty well had it. Lots of rust in the frame here even. I showed you these links on the rear end. There's two of them, upper and lower. It's basically like a 4-link kind of rear end. They're, even the lower ones are getting pretty bad. That one was okay in the upper. I remember I actually replaced these. What the heck was it? 3-4 years ago now, I replaced these upper links because they completely rotted out. And well, now you saw, well, this side, that one rotted out of the frame. That's typical. That happens on these things. 4L60E, we replaced this with a junkyard one 4 years ago too, about that time. 3 years ago? I don't know. And the junkyard one goes in, I think it, first gear doesn't work, or second gear, or one of them, I don't know. He just skips over it, and he's been driving it that way. It's been okay. Reverse works yet, so we're just gonna replace this link, make it mobile again, so then he can, whatever, maybe get a couple more months out of it while he looks for another replacement vehicle. This is his like winter beater daily driver. In Wisconsin, people that have nicer vehicles, they always have that one winter beater, because this is what, well, not this, but the rust. You saw like those rear links. That's what happens in Wisconsin, is just the rust destroys the vehicle. So if you want to have something nice, you can't drive it in winter because it's not going to be nice. So people, like I said, around here, they drive junk because you got to have salt on the road because nobody knows how to drive. People learn how to drive on snow, which it's not hard. People in Alaska and Colorado and all kinds of places do it. I actually prefer to have just a snow cover on the road. At least you know what you got. You're driving on snow cover, you know it's snow covered, and there's some grip on snow. More than on ice or black ice or any of that. You got some snow on the ground, you know, okay, yep, road's covered in snow, and slow down a little bit and just drive accordingly. But no, people nowadays, they just gotta do 80 miles an hour. I don't care what's happening outside. You better have that road clear. I want to do 80. And then, well, there's one spot where you get wind blown across the road and the salt doesn't work and there's an ice patch, and then everybody ends up in a big pileup. Just freaking slow down. It's not that hard. People have been driving on snow and winter for ever. Those people end up upside down in the ditches. I don't even know if they learn. They're like, whoops. Okay. I need another vehicle, honey. Salt is super frustrating to me. I cannot stand the stuff. And it's not just the vehicles and the rust. The salt washes down into the creeks, rivers, destroys ecosystems, kills fish, just everything. It's horrible. Infrastructure destroys, it destroys infrastructure, pipes underground. It even destroys the roads. melts the snow and the ice off of the road, and then it runs in the cracks of the road, and then the water refreezes when it gets down a little ways. So yeah, that's what happened. And yeah, once it does that once, that's it. I mean, you can't just pop that back in and keep driving for a ways and be like, oh, it's gonna be fine. No, it'll just fall right out instantly. Once it happens once, that's it. This one should come out like normal, pretty easy. Ain't gotta worry about ruining a boot there, so we can pickle fork it, or we can just beat the piss out of the stud. This one, that's gonna be something up here. That's usually a good time. I can't wait. Literally excited. You can almost hear the excitement in my voice. Although sometimes these surprise you. They just pop right off. And you're like, wow, that was easy. So a 1-inch doesn't fit it. Now 1 and 16 is too big by quite a lot. Get these on here. Just get on there. It's where you belong. Okay. Nope. And a 1-inch don't fit, huh? Is it some stupid metric thing? Frickin' Chevy with their goofy metric crap. Yeah? That covers up that other nut quite a bit, but maybe that don't matter. Yeah, that should be fine. All right. Oh my gosh, it moved. Something moved. What moved? Nope. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe. By hand even, look at that. Miracles. I'm buying a lottery ticket when I go pick up this tie rod end. Nice. And then I'll leave that so then I know how to set up the next one that same length from center of joint to here. I don't know if you guys can see, probably not. I think that's it. It's just there's rust. Let me get a hammer. It's right here. Yep. See, it's just the rust. Non-stop with the rust. Is she gonna come? Frickin' A! And now it's stuck in there. No problem. And we'll come out with our hammer again. Yup. Sweet. You can see, like, once that's wallowed out like a hot dog down a hallway, she just falls right out. And that's why these are dangerous, folks. It is important to check both tie rod ends and ball joints, because if you got, look at, there isn't actually a terrible amount of slop in there. When it gets to that point and this falls out and you're going on the highway, your wheel goes somewhere, it turns to the side, whatever it does, and you're upside down or going into oncoming traffic and dying or something. So very important to check this stuff out and make sure you're safe. I'm gonna go to the store and get a new one. That other one it had a little slop, and even though this truck is junk, I don't want this falling out for him, so I'm gonna go get the other side too and just throw it in there. I mean, it's probably only like $25–30. That's cheap compared to a car accident and dying. $50 a side. That's more than what I'm used to, but you know, nowadays with that president economics, I was gonna show you, you can't always go off of like the end of the stud or up here, because they're not always the same. You line up, typically they have a greaser in the end. This one doesn't. This is a non-serviceable one. To make these serviceable, you just drill a hole in there and put a greaser in there. I mean, then you last longer, but this is gonna outlast this vehicle, this Chevy. But you line up the ball joints. This is gonna be kind of hard for me to show, but you would line up kind of where that greaser is, or else like that cap, like the two circles of the ball joints, line those up and then line up your nuts. You can see like how much different this is now, the new one compared to the old one, and even it's a little bit longer or whatever, but that'll get you pretty close. Yeah, right about there. And we'll leave that, we'll screw that in until that nut touches, and she should be good. Close enough for a Chevy. It doesn't show as much, so right there the nut touches. This does not have a cotter pin hole. This nut for this is actually a nylon nylock. So get that in there. Slap her up in there. Quarter turn for that, and that'll be right there. You can see it's a nylock nut that goes on here. And it's very specific, that many foot-pounds. That should be good. Right, that side's done. Let's go do the other side. Yup. I don't know if that's showing up still, how much that joint's moving. That's not terrible, but yeah, like I said, the other one fell out. This one isn't super far behind. Okay, so this one does have a greaser in it. Odd. So then you clean up the old greaser and you stick that head of the old greaser right in that hole. See, then it like pivots right on that circle, right on that deal. So then that centers that, and then yeah, you just match up the other end with the nut. So use that greaser to line that up and just wing this up until she matches. Right there. See? Holding, hopefully you guys can see I'm holding that greaser in the hole of the new one. Line up the nut, and it'll be good. Usually when you pound it up like that, that taper should hold that, and it's not. Weird. Get her snugged up, get that hole lined up with the castle nut, and then poke that pin through. See, yeah, ball joints are actually tight. Nice. Nice and tight. Jiggle it up and down, nice and tight. Good. Yes, I sometimes would fix that rear trailing arm in here if this vehicle was in way better shape than worth it. But also, if he was going to keep it longer than a month, it's basically going to go to parts or scrapyard. One of the problems with fixing something like that, when you weld on a frame or you do a repair like that, if that repair fails, which it very likely could because there's nothing to weld there, it's rust. If that repair fails and then that causes an accident, you're the one that's liable. Keep that in mind when you're fixing rust. You just say, nope, you just gotta get to that point where you're just like, no, it's not worth repairing that because it's just liability and the rest of the vehicle just ain't worth it. And you still get those people that beg and plead and they're like, just patch it up somehow, just so I can get by. And yep, that's the ones where they get in an accident and then you're done. Oh, get some speed. Get some speed. Get some speed. Get up the hill, get up the hill, get up the hill. Don't stop now. Oh. Get in there. Oh. Anything else gonna make that bump? Okay. This thing kind of smells like Turbo Blue for some reason. That's weird. If you guys watch videos on the channel, you've seen this truck. Sweating balls. Hot outside. Frickin' sucks. Grab you guys. Come on. Let's go see what's going on with this truck. You guys remember this one? You guys remember I did downpipe and exhaust on this truck a year ago, 2 years ago? Oh, I thought there was a bigger muffler in here. That's pretty small. Yeah, out the side. Holding it well, he likes it. So, what's going on with this truck besides rear end, like undercoating the truck? Ooh, those bushings are, oh yeah. So I guess story is, this guy, buddy of mine, story is, this buddy of mine, this is, remember, if you guys remember, this is that Turbo LS truck. And he was actually talking about, he has a bigger exhaust side for this turbo, so he wants to bring it in for a bigger end put on a downpipe, and maybe even bigger exhaust yet. I don't know, we don't know. We're gonna talk about it. So he's leaving work, he's going home, and he just happens to drive past my house like every day on his way home from work. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna stop in front of Andy's house and do a burnout for him, show him some LS love. He stops and starts spooling up and goes to stand on it, and oh, wow. That was the end of the burnout right there. I guess, you know, it's funny because we looked and there wasn't even a mark on the blacktop, so like it didn't even turn the tire. and yeah. So I guess the story with this, I gotta look at this a little bit closer. Boy, that feels pretty smooth there. That doesn't feel like the pipe didn't break off at all. So he had to have the drive shaft shortened for the 4L, what is this, 60? No, this is 80E, looks like. He had to have the drive shaft shortened, and well, this is where they shortened it. And well, would you just look at that weld? The weld is all there, but nothing into the pipe. And this drive shaft, yeah, this is absolutely tiny for everything he's doing, but it's been holding up for him until somebody cut it and welded it. Yeah, I can't say for 100% sure yet, but I mean, the way this feels, I don't think that pipe there was nothing into that pipe whatsoever. There was like one little booger right here of like weld that got into the pipe. The rest of this, oh, there's one more little booger on the backside here. The rest of this just feels smooth as a baby's buttocks. So I'm thinking it was the typical, they put about a weld on there and it just sat on top of what they were trying to weld instead of like actually welding the weld stuff. Surprised it held up this long because it's been, I don't know how many years now. I don't even know how to get that out of there. Is that, oh, it is a slip joint. Okay, don't pull that out yet because it'll just pour oil out. So we're gonna have to get some section of this drive shaft out. I don't even know. I'm probably gonna have to pull the whole freaking thing all the way back to here, I suppose. Yup, probably. All right, so we're gonna start back here, get the drive shaft off. I ain't gonna leak stuff. Those are 1/2 inch. This up here is 9/16ers. At least back in the day, you knew what stuff was. It wasn't all that jacked up stuff like they got nowadays, where they're like, well, we kind of want to use metric, but we don't want to use metric everywhere, just in some spots. And then wherever we use metric, we're going to use the odd sizes, 13, 15, 18. We'll use all the sizes that nobody else uses. Why are these so much tighter than the other ones? There we go. Loosey-goosey. Oh my gosh. That's the wrong U-joint for that rear end. Slaps it around like a hot dog down the hallway. She's got a good, almost an eighth of an inch play in there. Get her out of there. Get her out of there. Why does it have no, why do you not let it out? Okay, we'll just leave that in there for now until we get this guy. There's the other one. Did the cap come? Yeah, the cap came. Okay, we're okay. Ain't nothing to worry about there. Couple wraps of the old D-taper on this end so caps don't fly off and we lose all the bearings inside while we're messing with the D shaft. And now we're gonna yank this out and it's gonna pour fluid all over. So we gotta get a pan. I don't know, hopefully not too much. I don't wanna have to fill up a bunch of stuff. Oh, nothing. Well, let's maybe a tranny's dry. Oh, somebody already cut the end of this off and they did it at an angle because why not? She's a spicer. Well, yeah, there's one spot, two spots, three, and just a little tiny bit through there. That was welded, and that was it. Nothing, absolutely nothing all the way through there. One little spot there, absolutely nothing through there. One little spot, nothing through there. Yeah, that weld is just, they just missed. Well, they were welding off to the side of the pipe instead of on the pipe. So really, I mean, a guy, you know, if you didn't care about the U-joint, you could have just like wire brushed this, stick that drive shaft back on there, and just weld right next to that weld, because it would have been fine. Oh, you guys probably can't see, but like right there, you can see that's all rust and no weld. And right there's one little spot where the weld kind of touched the pipe. And then a whole nother section of nothing. And right there, like a little sliver of weld touched it. Then nothing. And then a little tiny bit of weld through there, and then nothing the whole rest of the way around. That's awesomeness. Dum da dum. Do do do. Stuck in my head for weeks now. If she doesn't want to come out with the pliers, give her a little tappy tap taparoo. Get her out of that groove. There. Let's see if this side comes out. Oh, yeah. That one right out. Nice. When I found this chunk of aluminum, it's like perfect. A thing about, we're gonna have a few things about U-joints, but one of the things about U-joints is you wanna, just like a bearing race, press or hammer on the very outside edge of that cap. If you pound in the middle or have something even just remotely smaller than that outside, you're gonna bust that cap out, because it ain't got no strength in the center. All of its strength is trapped on the outside here. I use a whammer. I know they make press tools for this, but if you press it, if you don't have a tool that presses on just the joint itself, like, you can crush the joint, the ears together, and then it's pissing around. With a whammer, your whammer in this, it shocks it through, and it doesn't bend the ears, or you have less chance of bending those ears, typically. And I have that the rear ear on the other side of the yoke supported. She's going now. She's going now. Is that out? Oh, it looked like, nope, not quiters. A little bit more. Now she's not out yet. Wait, is it loose? It's loose. Carefully. Don't jiggle those bearings out of there. Put that off on the side. And something soft, so it's not. And if you're lucky, you get one cap out, you can squeak that by the other cap and pop her out. This one is so close. Other times you got to drive that cap back through that ear. Man, that is close. I bet you some tappy tappies will bring that out. I don't advise against this, but that was off the frame. I just tapped it just past that ear and I was able to get that out. Make sure you clean up any burr or anything that caused on this other end. We're gonna put that off on the side. I'm gonna stick that cap back on there, and then we'll stick this off on the side because we don't need this until assembly. Okay, I think I got something figured out here. I'm dialing into the back side of these jaws on both sides of the yoke so it's centered this way. I just got done doing that. We got a 0 here. Come around to this side. Center of that chuck jaw is 0. You guys probably can't see that, you're a mile away. As big as I have, taper live center in here in the center of this yoke, and that should center it up the other way and hold it. And then it's pushed back actually in the slots where these jaws ride, so it's kind of locked in from coming out of there. I'm going to crank these down, these here, just because when you're turning it they vibrate and they come loose. You got to watch that. So I'm going to crank them down and put them somewhere down in here, just so they're somewhere. And then yeah, this should all be true. I ran it and, well, it's out. So I don't know what to really believe. Like it it has a wobble in it, even though this live center is in the middle here. Like I said, I don't know really how they hold these when they machine the ends. It's kind of it's a mystery to me. I've looked at pictures and stuff, and there's, I don't know, there's jigs kind of. There's ones kind of similar to this where there's like a sacrificial yoke they have, and then a U-joint, and then they do a live center in the end. So then it's kind of held true to that U-joint that's in there. I guess maybe that's probably the best way. I don't do these often enough. Want to have like dedicated jigs to different size U-joints. I typically find a way, kind of like this, that I just get close, and it works. Turn those up, and they're actually going to touch that yoke down there, so that's nice. And I think, yeah, I can turn it now. You can see, like, it's got run out right here, but I don't know. It's not from the live center. The live center is running true on the inside of. There's actually a slight taper of the cone on the yoke that it's riding in. And back here, I don't want to get too close to the jaws, the chuck, but right here, looks like it's running absolutely true. Like where it spreads out to go to the yoke, to the U-joint caps. So I kind of feel like maybe it was just turned wrong, because everything around it runs true except that. I don't have to turn on this surface actually, because that should be fine. That gets it should get pressed into the pipe of the drive shaft. Really, the only thing I got to do is clean up this out here, which that doesn't matter because we're not really using any of that to center up on that drive shaft. Will this one work? Maybe. This wrench for the tailstock is the same size as the tool pulse. That's nice. I like that. So yeah, clean up this weld. Let's back away just in case it hits. Get rid of Bob Joe's weld here. Should we wear safety? Oh, I got safety glasses. That's right. Oh, it's hot. Oh, those chips are hot coming off there. Guy must have been running some hot wire. There. I just went until I didn't see rust coming off anymore. Let's see how that looks. Pretty good. Yeah, we're clean now on this whole, the flat side of this flange. Most of the weld is gone. There's one little spot there and there. And that's about it. Oh, I was worried I was taking off actual yoke material back here. That's actually still weld way back there. So yeah, I can take a lot off of there yet. Let's hammer her down a little bit. How hot? The chips are so hot they're coming off white, or not white, but they're coming off the metal color and then turning blue way out here when they're flying through the air. They're not even like coming off of the cutter blue. That's pretty darn hot. That'll do though. We got a clean surface all the way around there. I'm gonna run a wire brush in here just to clean up that other part. Get her up again. All right, she's ready for a pipe and a weld. It's on there like it should. It should be, it's basically like a pound on or a press fit. And we're just gonna pound it on the drive shaft, and then we just weld it. It registers. It's gonna register on the inside of the pipe, so it's gonna center it up circular, round, or orbital. It's gonna center it up axial, no, cylindrical, centric. Yeah, it's gonna center it up centrically. And then that lip that we just turned on this inside, because this is all sitting completely flat, this outside race does turn true wobbly wise with this, like off axis. So this surface that we just cut, that flat one there, I should be able to push that pipe right up against there, and that should center that up too. Hopefully, I think, I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, I'm gonna pull this out and we're gonna clean up the end of that drive shaft and stick her on there. Okay, I cleaned up the end of this pipe and I was looking, yeah, there was just nothing. I ground in like those 3 spots where the weld was. That was the only grinding I did. Right there. Right there, I did a little grinding, and then right there. That was the only 3 spots I ground with the grinder. Otherwise, the rest of this is just wire wheel, and you can see all that shiny, that lip. That's all the original virgin pipe that wasn't welded. It was just welded basically in those few spots, and then there was a little bit of weld like overlapping this pipe. Otherwise, there was hardly, I have no idea how this drive shaft held up as long as it did. The way this guy was abusing this truck, it boggles my mind. It's just nuts. If you would have done 4 really deep, hard, hot tack welds on here, it would have been stronger than what they had on here. So anyhow, yeah, I got this little scratch line there, little scratch line there. Just line those up, and that's where originally was. The yoke should line up with the one on the other end of the dry shaft, and well, hopefully it balances out and everything's the same again yet. Pound her until she's in there good and flat, because then it should be straight. That should fit nice and just be centered. I'm actually going to TIG weld this because I'm here and I can. The TIG welder's closer than the MIG welder. Yep, it's right here. Somebody was having a day last night when we were using this. That's not galvanized either, that's aluminum. And that was a red tungsten. I always sharpen the opposite end of my tungstens. Yeah, that was a red one that turned into that. Let me go clean that up. There we go. That's a little better. I don't know if you guys can see that. Is the welder plugged in? Yep. Sweet. Gotta have pedal and then cycle it so it purges the gas out of the line. It purges the gas into the line. Purges the air out of the line. It purges something out of the line. All right, ER70S2 332nd. First thing I'm gonna do is do tacks, 3 of them, 3 opposite sides, and we'll weld her out. And I'm gonna do a tack directly across from it. And then I do a tack in between those, but on one side. That's about as much weld as they had on it, like actually making a weld. And then now I go to the opposite end side of that one, and instead of a tack, I just start welding her out. So this is just how I do it. You guys do whatever you want. I'm not dumping a ton of filler in it because it's a tight joint, so there's not a lot needed. I'm just getting a little crown on there, not much. And then when I get to the end, as I'm backing off the throttle for the amperage, I'm going around in that puddle. And right at the very end, I just try to do like a half of a moon on the back side, so it kind of looks like the back end or a bead of a weld. Just don't stop and let it sit in one spot, because then that's what makes that crater. You don't want a crater. No craters around here. We don't think too kindly of craters around here. There we go. Drive shaft is welded out. He's welded out. I'm gonna put this clip on this other end here right off the bat. So then that'll work as an actual stop for us when we're driving everything in. So that's gonna go right in there. I don't remember which way this was. This usually doesn't matter. We're gonna pull off that cap. And then that goes in there. What was that noise? Is somebody here? Hope not. So I'm gonna slip this end in here and then push down on the cap on this end, and then we're gonna drive both of them that way at one time. And oh, I didn't even have to hammer. So yeah. Now we get it centered up on that side. I'll stick this cap on this side. Get her started. And I don't remember which end we were doing here. A little bit more. So we're basically driving it right up until it hits that cap on this side. I think it's like right there. Let's see if we can get this other spring in. Yeah, pretty much. Where's that punch I was using right there? So now, I mean, this one side kind of went in. I just want to start in the middle up here. Yeah, I think it's in. And then work your way around and just give her some tappy tap loves with the hammer. Yeah, that one right in. Nice. Yep. In all the way around, and she floats real easy. Floats easier than it does that way. Since we're all standing here, let's show you. So that one that we just drove in, see, it's like super, it's nice and loose. That's how it's supposed to be. Freaking phone is ringing again. Phone all the time. Oh yeah, so this way, I mean, it takes, I kind of actually wish I had like a gauge to show you. Like it takes quite a bit to move it. So when they're tight like that, you just take a hammer and hit these yokes on each side. I don't know, you guys got on a bad angle here. Let me see if I can get like that. Maybe that's better. Okay. So yeah, not that way. This way is hard. So then you take the hammer and that way, nice and perfect. Sloppy joint. There you go. Let's go toss her back in. A. No, wait, no. Paint and then toss her in. A. Yeah, paint and in. A. You gotta get these back ones in and tightened up. Whatnots. And then you go forward and make sure the carrier bearing is neutral. Actually, you should have this underground at ride height, but it's pretty flat. And then you tighten up that carrier bearing, and then you're good. All good. Oh my gosh, drop the lock washer. Kids screaming like a bunch of lunatics out there. Anyway, you're tightening down straps like this, whether it's a universal joint strap, or if it's a leaf spring strap, or if it's a muffler strap, or any kind of strap with two nuts, one on each end. You do an equal amount of turns on each one. You do half a turn on one, you do a half turn on another, or vice versa, or likewise, or whatnot. Just so you're not like stretching that strap out or deforming it, or cranking down on one side, not the other. And then all this carrier bearing, make sure it's neutral, floaty. It doesn't have like weird angles and pressures and forces acting upon it. It kind of floats there right where it wants to be. I snug down these bolts. Draw your shaft. And should we go do a burnout in it? No, he wouldn't mind, would he? I mean, he probably wants me to test it. Oh, just a little one in the driveway here. Or should I put it in gear and should we watch and see how far it's out of? Let's see if that flange really was like out of round like it looked on a lathe. Or if it's actually true to the U-joint. I'm curious. We're gonna have to see. Let's let this down, start it up, put it in gear, and take a gander at the man there. Oh yeah, I forgot all the jokes about playing with a shaft. Dang it. Missed opportunities. About all the shaft jokes. Where's the key? Oh, there ain't no key. Did he take the key? How am I supposed to do burnouts in your truck? You don't leave the key in it. I think Robert is here. Yep. Robert is here. I'll let it down and we can maybe start it up and put it in gear and put it back up and watch it.
Okay.
Just don't touch it.
Yeah, don't touch it.
Yeah, I don't know if they use like that Teflon stuff in there.
Well, the only thing I can think of,
or sometimes it's an O-ring they put in those,
is if that fitting wasn't on there, you got over tightened it. Yeah, man, it's like, do you need to get something to put under the tires? And I'm like, I'll find something. And then she's like, did you find something? I'm like, yep, found a tire in the woods. If I drive it home and it really hasn't a vibration, well, then I can park it home and bring you the drive shaft.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I
don't have to
cut it back off and actually straighten that flange and then weld it back on and make sure it's straight. Because I use like a center and I dialed in, I mean, I had everything like perfect. And I turned on the lathe and it was like, and I was like, but then like I said, I mean, you know, it was tight in the pipe, like when I did drive shaft pipe, like everything was like, because it just basically like popped out of there.
Yeah.
So like everything, like you could basically just stick it back in there and weld it. So it's not like, it wasn't different, you know, that's how it was. So it's just, yeah, I was like, nah, that's kind of weird. Because otherwise I would have corrected it, you know, when it's there, dialed it on the lathe, I was like, it would have straightened it out, but I wasn't sure. And like I said, that, you know, it's already balanced. Like, I put it back in the same clock, you know, in the same spot it was. So, I mean, it should be exactly how it was. But.
Well, the front U-joint's not bad, because that's a fairly big U-joint, but that back U-joint's like a little Honda CR-V U-joint, and I'm like, oh boy.
But it's nice to have like some cheaper weak link like that in the drivetrain, because then at least if you're going to break something, you're going to break something that's cheaper, like that U-joint or something.
Yeah.
Where you beef everything else up, well then you're going to start breaking more expensive parts, like rear ends and pinion gears and axles and other things. And the stronger you make other stuff, well then you start breaking more and more expensive stuff. But if that held up to all that abuse all that time, that's just, I can't.
That's what I don't understand.
I can't imagine.
I did the burnout in the Dells. I did countless burnouts elsewhere.
Yeah.
I did the drag strip. You know, that's just like as good as it gets.
Yeah. And you'll see when I do the video on it, it was literally like, there was like 3 places that there was like weld actually like into the pipe. Like I said, if you did 4, good tacks, like you actually like melted into the pipe and like actually did.
It would have been stronger.
It would have been stronger than what was there. So yeah, it was just they basically welded on the yoke all the way around and like just accidentally like hit the pipe in a couple of spots.
Yeah, like when
I can't believe that didn't break the first time you put it in. Like just put it in here, bang, because there was like nothing there.
When Evan was on the dyno, he was doing like steady state load.
Yeah.
So like the dyno's holding the brake so it'll stay at like 3,000 RPM.
Yeah.
And he's just pinning it. And so it's like it's all the power it can give.
Yeah.
At us, holding the rear end back as much as it can. So basically like you're climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
And like how did it not just boom?
Right.
Should I go out there and help push? And Amanda's like, no, don't go out there and help some stranger. And she's like, now I feel bad. And now you gotta fit 4-inch down there.
Yeah. Yeah, I just did that. I was just telling him about that video of us doing this. Yeah, 4-inch. Yeah, this is Robert, by the way.
Hi.
Hi. This is the guy that came and was trying to do a burnout and broke his truck, and I wasn't even home to watch it. So good.
Does sound good.
Says he's got a boat radio in here because his windshield leaks, so you gotta have a radio that can get wet.
That I can do.
Yeah, put your lap belt on.
Yeah, super safe.
Yeah. Alright, have a good one. Yeah. Don't break it. Drive shaft works. Nice. Man, what a nice evening. Look at that sunset. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like and subscribe, please.